The monochord is a drone instrument. It is a repetitive chord, and when you play it by strumming the strings, you can create an endless, what we call, carpet of sound. It's like a flying carpet where it gives you something to sit or lay upon, but if you listen long enough, it will take you somewhere. You want to get a monochord, but you don't know which model. So first, let's talk about the different sizes. The difference between the Monolini and the Monolina monochord models is really the size. The smallest FEELTONE monochord is called the Monolini. It has 21 strings. You can see it behind me on the stand. The Monolini is the little version of these monochords, and they come in all the same flavors, all the same tuning. And it has no melody notes, it just is a drone. It has overtone strings, octave strings, and fifth strings. The Monolini has 21 strings, and it doesn't have any melody notes, which are created with these little triangle pieces of wood that we call bridges. The Monolina has 34 strings, and it does have these melody notes. So whether you choose the Monolini or the Monolina depends on your needs. The Monolini is a lower price point. It's also really small. These are so lightweight and so easy to take with you anywhere. I recommend to people who are going to be taking public transportation a lot. For years, I took my Monolini in a shoulder bag on the subway. It was easy to hold to me in a crowded subway, and I could carry it around all day without any strain to my body. The Monolini is also nice if you are playing in, for example, a yoga studio where you don't have space for a lot of instruments. So you might want to just bring some compact instruments to leave more room for the yoga practitioners, or for a sound bath when people are laying on the floor. You may have less space. So you might want the Monolini. It's a wonderful instrument to take into hospitals or kindergartens or the corporate world, anywhere really. It's just so easy to take different places. And so if you want real portability and ease, that's the best one to get. The Monolina has more strings, and it also, because of these melody notes, has a little bit more versatility because you can do accents. It has 34 strings, and it also has 5 melody notes, these little wooden bridges here that elevate the string and give you accents. So the Monolina is ideal if you are going to be playing more as a musician, or for sound baths, or perhaps for kirtan, where you have room for a slightly bigger instrument and you want a little bit more variety. The Monolina is the most popular for sound baths and sound meditation. It has also the monochord face, which is overtone strings, octave, and fifth. The difference is there's a little bit more, and you have the melody notes on top. The Monolina is for those who want a little bit more flexibility. There's a few more things that the Monolina can do because it has the accent notes. It's still really lightweight. You can put it on a plane and stick it in the overhead. I travel with mine all the time. It's a little bit more awkward, but you can take it on public transportation, and it's very easy to move around in a vehicle. They have strings on the top that are tuned to the tonic, or the root note, in this case C. And then there are 5 strings that are tuned to the exact same note, an octave lower, which means that the string is the same note, it's also C, but it's vibrating twice as slow as the upper note. And then the bottom 5 strings have a fifth. So the fifth is a note that is 5 notes away. So in the key of C, we would say the alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So the G is 5 notes away, and the G is then our fifth in relation to the C. So we have our fifth on the bottom. Now, the interval of the fifth is called a perfect fifth in music theory, and it's a very stabilizing ratio. It's very stable and grounding to the nervous system. So we have the octave and the fifth to create this sense of ease and stability and support. What is nice about the FEELTONE family is that the tonic, the octave, and the fifth are in separate sections. In some other monochord brands, the strings might be interspersed, where you have the octave, the fifth, and the tonic repeating. And while that sounds really lovely, you can't separate out the different sections. Here in the FEELTONE line, you can play just the overtone strings, just the bass strings, or just the fifth. And so it gives a little bit of variety where I might be able to play just the tonic and then drop in these grounding notes. So all of them are organized in the same way, but they have a different starting note. So then on the Monolina, we have these 5 melody notes, and the 5 notes make up a pentatonic scale. And you can tune it to either a major or a minor pentatonic scale. The instrument comes with a template that shows you those 2 different scales, or you could actually tune it to any scale that you wanted. On this one, it is tuned to a major pentatonic scale. And the reason why we have the pentatonic scale is because it's a scale as well as a chord. That means you can play these notes in any order or all together. And they always sound good. So there's no wrong notes. And that's great if you're not a musician, because you don't have to know or understand music. You just have to learn how to tune it properly, and you can play these beautiful notes. And if you are a trained musician, I have a master's degree in music, I love being able to put my thinking brain aside and simply be present to the music, to the energy, to the people that I'm playing for. So it's also great to not have to think and just be able to play. The major pentatonic scale is like a major diatonic scale, but missing 2 notes. It's missing the 4 and the 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. It can also be tuned to the minor pentatonic scale, which would be 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 5, 4, 3, 1. And if you don't want the pentatonic scale, you can also have the option to purchase additional bridges and do a 7-note scale in any scale or mode. Then we get into our larger instruments, the concert monochord, the meditation monochord. These instruments are not body instruments, so they are more for performance, for sound artists, for composers, and also for meditation. The larger instruments really have these low tones, so that's something to keep in mind as well. Do you want really low earthy tones, or do you want higher, more ethereal sounds? The way that we play the monochord is that we strum it, and then we play these accent notes. And what takes place is that when you strum these notes in a repetitive way, the different strings that are all tuned to the same note start to come into resonance, into cohesiveness, and the different harmonics that are encapsulated in each note start to separate out and start to sing this cascade of harmonics over the fundamental tone.